Ireland, a country known for its breathtaking green landscapes, traditional music, and a history marked by national pride. But what happens when a nation so closely tied to its cultural identity and sense of belonging faces a crossroads that threatens to change its essence? Over the past 2 decades, Ireland has seen a massive increase in both legal and illegal immigration, bringing with it challenges that test its social, economic, and political structure. The key question here isn't just how Ireland reached this point, but something much more intriguing. How has it been able to resolve this crisis in a way that has left analysts and experts around the world surprised? Today, I will tell you exactly how they've done it. And believe me, what you'll hear at the end of this video is something you won't expect. To understand the current crisis, we must travel back in time. For most of its modern history, Ireland was a country that experienced a massive exodus of its people. During the Great Famine in the 19th century, about 1 million Irish people died, and millions more emigrated to distant lands like the United States, Canada, and Australia. Between 1845 and 52, Ireland's population dropped from about 8 million to just over 6 million. This phenomenon continued throughout much of the 20th century. Ireland was known for sending its children abroad in search of better opportunities, while the economy at home struggled to stay afloat. However, something changed at the end of the 20th century. In the 1990s, the Celtic Tiger emerged from the shadows. The term Celtic Tiger refers to a period of rapid economic growth in Ireland that began in the mid-1990s and extended until the global financial crisis of 2008. During these years, the Irish economy experienced unprecedented growth, transforming the country from one of the poorest in Europe to one of the most prosperous. The name Celtic Tiger is a reference to the Asian tigers, countries like South Korea and Singapore, which also experienced explosive economic growth in previous decades. Ireland's economy saw unprecedented growth driven by foreign direct investment, low corporate taxes, and a growing educated workforce. Multinational companies, especially in the technology sector, saw Ireland as a strategic place to establish their European operations. This economic growth attracted not only investors, but also immigrants from all over the world. In just a few decades, Ireland went from being a country of immigrants to becoming a desired destination for thousands of immigrants, mostly from Eastern Europe, Africa, and Asia. The numbers don't lie. Between 2004 and 2014, net immigration to Ireland exceeded 10% of the country's total population. An astounding figure considering Ireland is a nation of just over 5 million people. But with this migration boom also came problems. Although most immigrants arrived legally, a growing number began entering irregularly, using human trafficking networks and exploiting loopholes in asylum laws. In 2020, for example, it was estimated that approximately 100,000 people were living in Ireland without proper documentation, putting considerable pressure on the system. And here is where things began to get complicated. Because while Ireland's economy was booming, the country wasn't prepared for the type of population growth it was experiencing. The welfare system, in particular, began to collapse under the pressure. First, let's look at the numbers. By mid-2015, Ireland's public health system was already struggling to provide adequate care to its citizens. With the arrival of thousands of additional immigrants, especially those who couldn't work due to their legal status, the situation worsened. It is estimated that by 2019, more than 15% of beds in public hospitals were occupied by people without legal residency in the country. In addition, illegal immigration also affected the labour market. While legal immigrants found jobs in technology, healthcare, and other specialised sectors, many of those entering irregularly ended up in the shadow economy. In 2018, it was estimated that illegal work generated losses of more than 500 million euros in taxes each year. This, combined with the pressure on social services and the increasing demand for housing, began to generate social tensions. And then we come to the cultural issue. Ireland, a country with an identity deeply rooted in its traditions, language, and Catholic faith, began to wonder how to integrate thousands of people from different backgrounds without losing what it means to be Irish. This conflict between the need to adapt and the desire to preserve its culture has been one of the biggest challenges Ireland has faced in recent years. As immigration continued to rise, voices emerged warning of an identity crisis in Ireland. For many Irish people, the idea of a multicultural Ireland was unsettling. Traditionally, Irish national identity was closely linked to the Gaelic language, Catholic religion, and a historical resistance to foreign domination. Now, with entire neighbourhoods filled with immigrant communities, speaking different languages, and practicing different religions, an uncomfortable question arose. What does it mean to be Irish in the 21st century? This led to a rise in support for more conservative political parties, demanding stricter immigration policies and tighter border control. However, the Irish government chose a different approach. Instead of giving in to populist pressure, Ireland decided to do something radical: adopt a policy of inclusion and transformation. Here's where things get really interesting. Faced with growing social discontent and the evident pressure on the system, the Irish government implemented a series of measures that not only reduced illegal immigration, but also transformed how Ireland manages its new residents. The first measure, and perhaps the most impactful, was the creation of a more efficient border control system in collaboration with the European Union. Since 2017, Ireland has implemented an advanced surveillance system at its ports and airports, using facial recognition technology and real-time biometric data checks. This reduced illegal entries into the country by 40% in just 2 years. But instead of focusing solely on restriction, Ireland also chose to heavily invest in integrating the immigrants already in its territory. Unlike many European countries that tend to marginalise immigrants in closed-off communities, Ireland opted for active inclusion. Since 2018, the government launched a series of educational programmes designed to teach English and Irish to immigrants, facilitating their entry into the labour market and their participation in the country's daily life. And speaking of the labour market, here's another key point. Specific training programmes were created to help immigrants adapt to the needs of the Irish economy, with a particular emphasis on sectors like technology, healthcare, and education. This approach not only reduced immigrants' dependence on the welfare system, but also allowed them to contribute actively to the economy. The result? In 2021, the employment rate among immigrants in Ireland reached 72%, one of the highest in Europe. This alleviated pressure on the welfare system and helped maintain the country's economic stability. As for politics, Simon Harris, currently serving as the Taoiseach, Prime Minister of Ireland, has adopted a pragmatic and firmer approach to the country's migration policy. One of his key goals has been to move beyond the emergency responses that had previously been implemented to manage the influx of immigrants and asylum seekers. Under his administration, Harris has emphasised the importance of finding sustainable solutions that not only respect human rights, but are also effective in terms of asylum application management and processing. Harris has supported Ireland's participation in the European Union's Migration and Asylum Pact, which seeks a more coordinated and efficient response to managing the migration flow within the bloc. Among the measures he advocates is the option of processing asylum applications in safe third countries, an idea he considers worth exploring to alleviate pressure on Ireland's system and offer dignity to asylum seekers while their cases are processed. Furthermore, he has made it clear that Ireland will not be a loophole or an escape route for other countries' migration problems, a clear reference to the controversy with the United Kingdom regarding the return of asylum seekers under the UK's deportation plan to Rwanda. Harris has made it clear that Ireland seeks to maintain a fair immigration policy, but with clear rules that ensure compliance with current regulations. Ireland hasn't solved all its immigration problems overnight, and still faces significant challenges. But what it has achieved is remarkable. By combining firm border control policies with an inclusive approach to integration, Ireland has demonstrated that it is possible to manage immigration in a humane and effective way. If you found this video interesting, don't miss the next one. where we'll explore the situation in Italy. It's surprising how this country is dealing with similar challenges in a very different way. I'll leave the link in the description, or you can go directly to my channel where you'll find many more videos like this one. If you liked it, don't forget to subscribe and give it a thumbs up for more content about the stories shaping our world.